I'm sorry, Mrs. Morrison, but Riverside Academy families have certain standards. A child raised by her grandmother. No parents in the picture. It's just not what our parent community expects. I heard those words standing outside the principal's office. It was my granddaughter Emma's first day at this prestigious Connecticut private school. The door was slightly open, and Ms. Jennifer Harley's voice carried into the hallway. The other children all have SAT prep tutors by 3rd grade. This girl will need, well, scholarship programs. It affects our rankings. I quietly stepped back from that door. Emma was in the auditorium for orientation, still innocent and excited. On the drive home, Emma asked, "Grandma, why does Ms. Hartley talk to me differently than the other kids?" "Let me look into it, sweetheart." But I already knew. It had begun. And this time, I wasn't letting it slide. My name is Margaret Morrison. I'm 68. I've been raising Emma for 7 years. Since her parents died in a car accident when she was 2. My husband passed 3 years ago, so now it's just Emma and me. People see me as an ordinary grandmother in a modest Connecticut apartment, living on retirement savings. That's not wrong, I do live that way. But there's something nobody knows. I'm on the board of trustees for the Riverside Educational Foundation. We operate 5 schools, including Riverside Academy. My late husband built this foundation, and I've run it quietly for 15 years. Why the secrecy? 15 years ago, family members fought me for control of the foundation. There were lawsuits, media scrutiny, even threats. The stress contributed to my husband's first heart attack. So I made a choice: work through lawyers and administrators, keep my identity private, never appear at the schools. I wanted Emma to grow up normal, not as the board chair's granddaughter. Now I wonder if hiding was a mistake. That first week, Emma came home with a permission slip: parent coffee, all families required to attend, $500. Suggested contribution for classroom enhancement fund. I attended. The other parents were mostly in their 30s and 40s. Designer clothes, luxury cars outside. I was the oldest person there by 20 years. Ms. Hartley stood at the front. "We're organizing enhanced learning programs, coding, Mandarin, competitive robotics. Investment is $1,200 monthly per child. Of course, if that's financially challenging. There are always the free after-school options." She looked directly at me while saying, "Free options." Other parents turned to stare. The woman next to me whispered, "That's Emma's grandmother. No parents, you know." So sad. I sat through those stares. And I thought, not yet. Wait. A week later, I checked Emma's school portal. The teacher's notes said, "Family instability affects classroom participation. Peer relationship challenges observed. Financial aid recommended." My hands shook reading that. Emma had friends. She talked about them constantly: Madison, Sophia, Jake. Yet the official record said, peer relationship challenges. It was a lie. Then I discovered the parent WhatsApp group. 24 families, everyone except me. Another parent mentioned it accidentally. "Oh, you're not in the group chat?" Maybe Ms. Hartley thought. Well, some grandparents aren't comfortable with technology. That night, I made a decision. I knew what this was. Deliberate exclusion. I called my foundation's attorney the next morning. "David, I need everything on Jennifer Hartley. 3rd grade teacher at Riverside Academy. Employment history, complaints, everything." "Margaret, what's going on?" "My granddaughter is in her class. And she's being targeted." The file arrived in 3 days. Ms. Hartley had 2 previous complaints about preferential treatment and financial solicitation. Both were quietly settled. I began collecting evidence. First, I gave Emma a small recording device for her backpack. For 1 week, she recorded classroom interactions. I heard, "Emma, you forgot your materials again?" When children don't have proper parental supervision. Well, it shows. Make groups of 4. "Emma, you can work alone." Parent conferences next week. Emma's grandmother probably can't make it. Not that there's much to discuss. I saved every recording. Second, another parent feeling guilty forwarded me screenshots from the WhatsApp group. Ms. Hartley had written, "Emma's academic performance is dragging down our class average." These scholarship cases are always problematic. I wish administration would screen more carefully. Third, our foundation's compliance office discovered something explosive. Ms. Hartley was receiving kickbacks from a private tutoring company. She recommended to parents. She'd collected over $15,000 in referral fees over 2 years. This wasn't just discrimination. It was fraud. I compiled everything: recordings, screenshots, falsified progress reports, financial records. Then I called an emergency board meeting and contacted the state education department. The next morning, everything changed. State investigators arrived at the school. The board convened in the principal's office. And for the first time in 15 years, I walked into Riverside Academy as myself. Principal Davis's face went white when he saw me. "Mrs. Morrison? What are you?" "Let me introduce myself properly. Margaret Morrison, Chair of the Riverside Educational Foundation. Board of Trustees." The room went silent. I placed my evidence on the table. "This is documentation of systematic discrimination, fraudulent reporting, and financial misconduct by Ms. Jennifer Hartley." Ms. Hartley was called in. She stared at me in shock. You're the board chair?" "Yes. And you've been bullying my granddaughter." The investigation took 10 days. They found 3 other families with similar experiences. Ms. Hartley was terminated. Her teaching license was revoked. Criminal charges were filed for the financial fraud. Principal Davis was reassigned for negligence. The board implemented new policies: mandatory bias training, independent review of all teacher assessments, anonymous parent reporting system, counseling support for affected students. But what mattered most was Emma. With a new teacher, she began to flourish. 2 weeks later, she came home beaming. "Grandma, Mrs. Peterson said my essay was the best in class. And I'm in a group project with Madison and Sophia." I held her close, tears in my eyes. That evening, Emma gave me a handwritten note: "Grandma, you're my hero. Thank you for protecting me. I still serve on the foundation board. But now I'm visible, active, listening to families and students." Emma's in 5th grade now, thriving. Sometimes she asks, "Weren't you scared?" "Terrified. But you needed me to be brave." She squeezes my hand. "I want to be brave like you." I smile. "Sweetheart, you already are."